Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the B2B Revenue Leadership Podcast. Hey, it's another year, another time to make some more money, and I've got the course for you. Start the conversation, get the meeting will help your team, both business development, sales development, get into those new cold accounts, whether that function is under marketing or sales. I'll help you with that by starting organic, natural conversations, not pitching. Have people open up with you, build up a connection with them, understand your total addressable market, prioritize it, and put in a system that scales, that's predictable, that works the way you want it to work instead of the old school pitch. Believe me, I've sat through so many of these cold calling seminars, courses, books, and I've been doing it for 30 years, and it's evolved. And what I'm doing today is what's working in today's world. It works naturally, and people are just loving it, getting meetings, closing deals, and doing it without the rejection that is typically there in sales. So check it out at b2brevenue.com under the training tab. You can schedule a call with me. We can talk it over. I'll explain how it works and how we can work together on it. You can buy it per student, or I'll customize it for your particular product and team and coach you through that process. Also, if you're a sales leader and you want predictability, you want direction, momentum, and control with your deals, you can sign up for that course as well. Same type of model. A year-long access to it. It's content, community, and coaching, all included at b2brevenue.com. You can get my free ebook there on how companies make product selections. That's all free. Let's get into the interview, but I want to make sure you're checking out my partners. They're in the show notes. This week, it's Pipedrive and CoVideo. Pipedrive is the new CRM. It's been out for 5 years. I've been using it forever. I love that. It's connected up with your email, your calendar, and now they have team capabilities. CoVideo is the video email system. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's the way to break into new accounts. It's so much more engaging than text. Check them out. Also, make sure you're checking me out on LinkedIn, Brian G. Burns on LinkedIn. Let's get into the interview. I'll sum it up at the end. Hey, Daniel, thanks for joining us today. As a way of getting started, tell us about yourself.
Thanks for having me. So, my name is Daniel Miller. I am the marketing director of one of the top worldwide email marketing services, Benchmark Email. And I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
How'd you get interested in this?
Into email marketing, to be honest, it's funny. When I was 13, I started my own computer consulting business. Pretty much fixing all of my mom's friends' computers and doing all this stuff. And slowly but surely, it actually turned into a real business where I had about 200 clients that would call me every other week. I was doing this while living in Spain. And one of the things that made my service different from anyone else is that I was being paid as a recurring service. If you call any technician, they come and they bill you by the hour spent. Yeah. I would go to companies and say, hey, you can call me as many times as you want at this flat rate. So I was naive at the time. I thought that was the best idea because everyone loved that. But then I found out that my phone was off the hook every single minute of the day, and I just could not handle that. So I turned to email marketing. I found that sending out kind of weekly newsletters with the top problems that most of my customers would have. Things like, Daniel, my mouse stopped working. Can you come check it out? I would make the travel all the way there. Come to find out, it was a wireless mouse and they forgot to change the batteries. Yep. So, simple things like that, reminders and tasks through email marketing is something that really lowered my call amount to allow me to gain more and more customers as well. So that's kind of how I got into it. And then I found Benchmark Email, funny enough, on a Craigslist posting a long time ago, almost 10 years ago now. Wow, time flies. And when I first started with them, it was about 20 of us. When I got the job, I didn't really know what was going on. And slowly but surely, I saw that this was a real startup. This was a real business. And I knock on wood. 10 years later, we're in 15 different countries and 9 different languages. So I was in the right place at the right time.
Excellent. And what do you focus on today?
So today, as the marketing manager for the company in so many regions, um, our focus is really keeping a steady brand all the way through all of our countries and languages, which I think is one of the most difficult tasks, especially since so many countries, it's just totally different, right? Like email marketing in Japan is 100% different than how it is here. They don't really like flashy emails. They're more on the text base. China is the complete opposite. They love all the flashiness. Here in the U.S., it's going more towards storytelling versus selling. So, it's been a really interesting experience to try to focus on a brand consistency throughout so many different regions and countries. So, yeah.
And what have you seen change in the last few years?
I think the adoption of email marketing itself, I would say 5 years ago, when I would go to a conference or a trade show and I would tell people, hey, I'm in email marketing, they would immediately relate that to spam. And I think that feeling has kind of changed throughout these past couple of years to where people really understand the value of email marketing. And people are more open to sign up to companies and brands that they trust because they understand now that email marketing is adding value to their experience, not just trying to sell.
And when you say add value, what because that obviously depends on what they're sending, right? And how often they're sending it.
Absolutely, yeah. And that is 100% in the responsibility of the company and the brand.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's something that the brand sees right away. If I'm a consultant and I have a sign up box on my site that says, hey, sign up to get the best tips on marketing or this or that, and somebody signs up and I throw that idea out the window and I start selling to them and say, hey, sign up to my subscription fee to get these tips, then that kind of throws people off and they're going to unsubscribe very quickly. Adding value through email marketing is all about whether you have a product or service, really relating to your customer and trying to get into their shoes and show them how your product or service can help them make their life better, easier, and so forth. So it's kind of the support to your product and service by showing examples, giving free content, anything that can add a better experience to your customer or subscriber based on the service or product that you provide.
And what do you guys use? What type of cadence or sequence do you have?
So we have quite a few. One of the main things that we focus on is email marketing best practices. So when somebody signs up to Benchmark Email, for example, we do have promotional emails that go out, but it kind of happens in a very organic way. And what I mean by that is if I tell you, hey, try out email marketing, it has a return of investment for every dollar you spend, 40 comes back, buy that now. Yeah, you may find it interesting for the return on investment, but there's really no problem that we're really solving there, right? But if we start to explain to you and you go through a series of email sequences that shows you the value as to what a simple email can do, from closing a sale to re-engaging with a lost customer to nurturing leads and really earning trust to then potentially turn leads into customers, those are the type of problems that I think real businesses need to understand how email marketing can benefit them with all the other marketing channels that they're working with, right? So once we show that value, pretty much the product sells itself.
And what market are you in? Who do you compete against? It's not the marketing automation people, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, we do have a basic marketing automation tool. Our type of user is more the small to medium sized business, which, to be honest, a lot of the time they don't have a marketing department per se. It's a one-man show or a small business operation to where Susie down the street that may have a cupcake store, she knows how to make the most delicious cupcakes. So she really needs help with email marketing because email marketing is not something that she really knows about or, wants to really dive into. And that's why they would come to us for us to really explain very basic things that any business can pick up. And through marketing automation, it's a word that a lot of people kind of get scared of because they immediately think of oh, I'm going to have to figure out code, or, this is going to be complicated. I'm going to have to spend hours. It can be. Don't get me wrong. Especially depending on what you want to do, you can go down a rabbit hole that never ends. But we try to focus on, the very basics of marketing automation, things like welcome series, lead nurturing. So again, Betsy down the street with her cupcake shop can create a email sequence that once somebody tries her delicious cupcakes, this email sequence can kind of maybe tell a little bit more of her story, create that engagement, loyalty, and get people back in the door. So like I was saying, we want to make sure that the business doesn't really have to worry about email marketing. They can jump in, plug and play, and get back to what they really know how to do.
And how long does it take to onboard people with kind of that knowledge and that ability? And, how much engagement is there between you and the customer?
Totally. So we are a self-serve service. So most of the educational pieces that we have are done online through videos and articles and blogs and webinars and so forth. We do offer account managers, but it's something that we do see that from somebody signing up to actually sending their first email, it's normally done within the first day. And then when it comes down to marketing automation, once they get over that fear of, oh my goodness, this is going to be so complicated, and they actually jump in and they see it, normally the automation is also created on that same day and activated within the same day as well.
And what are people not understanding about email marketing? Because a lot of people kind of feel like it's almost too much now. People are overwhelmed with emails. There's products coming out to, clean your email box and auto unsubscribe. Where do you see it going?
Well, it's going back to the value aspect of it. When companies see that it's being too much, it's because they're not really identifying what is the value that they're providing to their customer. What is the problem that email marketing is helping them solve? I see companies day in and day out that just say, hey, we got this product, let's try to sell it. Or, hey, our numbers are down, send out that next email and sell. Which, again, email marketing can be used in that way, but it shows so much more value on the long term by really engaging. And the hard part about that is it's hard to quantify something that's an engagement to dollars, right? And a lot of companies have difficulty saying, okay, well, if I create this email series, it's going to take 3 months or 6 months to even go through the whole series. And then I got to figure out how that affected my lifetime value, my customers, the purchase history. So I think that's pretty much the hardest part, is really understanding that, yeah, you can make a quick sell with email marketing, but if you really take a step back and create a email marketing plan to where you say, okay, here's our product, here's exactly what we do, what is it that we could add value for? Here's an example. Let's say that you were selling vitamins and supplements and things like that, right? You could send out an email every single day with a new special, with a new offer every week, but that's going to get boring. But if you start sending me emails saying, with recipes, things that can help me with my diet, meaning it's supporting your entire industry. If you sell vitamins and supplements and you're giving me information on how to eat better, how to work out, how to meditate, now you've turned into not just a company that sells me vitamins, you've turned into a thought leader that I'm going to trust and I'm going to want to engage with. So I think that's where, once people get that aha moment, it really turns email marketing into one of their main channels, if not the ultimate main channel for their marketing efforts.
And do you run marketing, or are you just one of the many people on the team, or?
Yeah, I am head of marketing for the company. So pretty much I do oversee all of our marketing activities, from content creation all the way through to our ads, PPC, referral strategies, and so forth.
And what's working as far as content today? What platforms, what topics, what is really resonating?
Well, since Google's latest algorithm change, which happened at the end of last month, beginning of this month, you can see the internet is going crazy to try to figure out what exactly is going on here. Google, they get smarter and smarter, and when it comes down to it, they're really, again, it's all about providing value. If your website is just a bunch of keywords that relate to your brand, but you're not really solving that problem, Google's not going to want to rank you. As we know, when you do a search through one of the search engines, let's talk about Google since it's the most known one. If you do a search and you click on a link and you come back to Google because that link was not what you were looking for, Google hates when that happens. So Google is making sure that when I do a Google search and I click on that first link, everything that I'm looking for is there. So going back to the key phrase of email marketing, somebody that searches for email marketing, 9 times out of 10, they're not looking for an email marketing service. They're looking for information. They're looking for best practice, how-to, case studies. So when it comes down to identifying that keyword, we need to make sure that we have a page that is dedicated to that and that is informative about that. And I think that applies over most industries and most keywords. It's all going towards knowledge. The more you know, the better, right?
Yeah. And where do you spend your money as far as pay-per-click?
Right now, we've actually been quite successful with display ads specifically. We did try a little bit of Facebook for what we do, and it worked out really well on getting a lot of free account signups, but we saw a low conversion rate in regards to paid account signups from Facebook. So we've kind of switched gears and gone back to focusing more on Google and PPC through there, specifically in display ads. And yeah, we have seen a little bit of success there. One of the things that we experimented with was trying to influence what people would search for when coming to our site. So the key phrase email marketing currently costs about $50 to $60 per click. I know it's an expensive keyword. So we thought to ourselves, is there a way that we could influence that and have people search for something else? What if they could search for our brand name, Benchmark Email, which is only about $5 per click? So we went ahead and we went to the drawing board and we created a ad campaign for a display that pretty much said, hey, Benchmark Email, put that in your Google and search it. Funny enough, I was surprised that Google even allowed this ad to go through. I hope they don't hear this podcast. I don't want them to shut that ad down, but it worked. Believe it or not, our impressions went through the roof. People were definitely listening to what we were saying, and they started to search for our brand name instead of email marketing. And to target this, we specified with Google Audiences to focus on people that were B2B, looking for software, looking to buy, and so forth. And it's turned out to be a really successful campaign for us.
Now, wouldn't you already rank really high for your own company name?
We do rank very high. What I was meaning by is that, so on the Google search, we rank number 1. But for display ads, so as you're browsing through other websites,
I see.
if you fell under the criteria that we set, a business owner looking for online software to purchase, you would see our ad saying, if you're looking for email marketing, search for Benchmark Email. And instead of people going and searching email marketing and then finding us, they would just directly search Benchmark Email. So our impressions pretty much, meaning the number of times people search for our name, pretty much tripled overnight. So that was really cool.
And how about as far as social networks? Where are you getting any traction, if any?
Yeah, for social networks, it's something that we are kind of switching gears here and trying to really re-identify how we want to use our social networks, especially with some of the algorithm changes from Facebook and knowing that barely any of your audience really sees what you post. I think it's about 3%, or that's what they say. We're trying to use this in a different way to try to maybe create more value for existing users, whether they're free or paid, to try to follow us on these channels to get the latest tips and advice on email marketing. So that's kind of the change that we're starting to see there. But yeah, we have tried to attract new customers from social media, and it has worked. We just haven't seen it as a main focus for us yet.
And how about LinkedIn? Anything there?
LinkedIn, yeah. LinkedIn has been something that we've had success with. Due to the cost to it, though, we've kind of put that on the back burner. But yeah, it is a channel that we've seen success for, and we plan on exploring it probably more towards the first quarter of this year.
And how about anything with video, either on YouTube or sharing videos on any of the social platforms? Any traction there?
Video works really, really well. As I was just talking before we started, as I scroll through LinkedIn, when I see your videos, it makes me stop. It makes me see, what neighborhood is he walking down? What's he talking about today, right? So I think video is something very engaging.
Yeah.
What I think brands fall into the mistake on is just relying on the video alone, though. I think a video is a great moment to kind of get me engaged, but there should be a link to continue reading or to get the piece of content in writing so I can easily reference it later on. It's been hard, when you hear a piece of gold in a video, to try to go back and figure out, where was it? Was it at minute 2, minute 3? When I have it in text form, it's really easy to save it, make a note about it, and yeah, pretty much that.
So how would you kind of break up your marketing pie as far as what you spend your time and money on?
So right now we're really focusing on lead generation. The months of summer for us is quite slow. There's a lot of people on vacation, and businesses just aren't quite buying software at the time. But gearing up towards the holiday, which is right around the corner. I mean, my goodness, it's already September. This does tend to be our more active months. So things that we're trying to really focus on is the education. People tend to think of marketing as something that's really just bringing in all the leads, and that's definitely where the majority of the time's at. But inbound marketing, working with what's already on the table, I mean, that has a tremendous value that a lot of people tend to forget about that because we're also focused on more leads, more leads, more leads. And, I was taught very at a young age, in a way, that it's not as easy as just think of the funnel and you throw people on the very top and they're just bound for money to spit out at the bottom. That's not necessarily true. And a good analogy that was given to me is flip that funnel around, put it upside down, and remember that gravity is what you're fighting. And that gravity is your competitors' offers, time, engagement. So all of those things is what you're really fighting in the day-to-day. So when you flip that around and you think of it that way, to where it's no longer people being dropped in the funnel at the top and money coming out from the bottom, it's people coming into the funnel from the bottom, and you're having to keep their attention, keep their engagement, and pull them up. It really takes a totally different spin on how you treat your marketing. And for us, it's really helped us focus on inbound marketing because, hey, if they've already signed up to a free account, they've trusted us enough to do that, we should be focusing 100% on these users and making sure that they're successful with our product, and therefore they will ultimately buy. I mean, there's no doubt about that. If the product works, they're going to buy it. If it's not, then that's when you lose that sale, right? So that's where our focus is at.
Excellent. Hey, Daniel, this has been a great conversation. Where do people go to learn more about you, your company, and connect with you?
Absolutely. So the name of our site is benchmarkemail.com. And we have a wonderful podcast in which we talk about email marketing tips, advice, and we go from a very basic level all the way to advanced. The name of the podcast is Clues for the Clueless Email Marketer. It can be found through our blog or on iTunes and Spotify as well.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that. Hey, make sure you check us out on LinkedIn. And B2B Revenue is the website. You get the free ebook there. You can learn about the courses. You can also check out my YouTube channel, Brian Burns Sales Podcast on YouTube, where I store both these podcasts, my videos that I do daily on sales and marketing tips, all the webinars are hosted there. So if you ever get lost and you don't know where to go, Brian Burns Sales Podcast on YouTube is a great place to be. And you can sign up to get on my calendar at B2B Revenue under training, and we can talk over your sales and marketing situations about getting you into your dream accounts in a fast, natural, organic way. And if you happen to see my content fly by on LinkedIn, I'd really appreciate a like or comment or a share, and we'll see you next time.